Oh my god, Dad, I am so sorry. You have no idea how bad I feel about what I've just done. I mean, I can't believe I actually did that at your own birthday party. I know you must really hate me, but I really want you to understand. I just couldn't hold it in anymore. Just with everything that's been happening lately, it's all gotten to my head. It's so hard for me not to think about it.
Hey, Eileen, you listen here. I don't want you to be apologizing for anything. Who gives a damn if it was my birthday or not? It's just one day of the year. If you ask me, I'm getting to that age already. I don't even care about birthday parties anymore. They're more of a reminder that I'm one step closer to the grave after all. Honestly, I don't want you to think anything bad about what you did. You actually did me a favor. I was hoping to end the festivities as early as I could, and I might not have looked like it, but I was dying to just get out of there.
Oh, come on now. Don't talk that way. I know the type of guy you are. You're not the type to be all gloomy and negative about your own birthday. I could see how much fun you were having there. Don't tell me that wasn't a genuine smile. The only reason that you're saying things like that now is to make me feel better.
Oh, come on, darling, don't say that. I'm being honest. It's weird to say, but you're a miracle that actually got me away from that party.
Just stop that. I know how much you were enjoying yourself. I can't tell you how sorry I am. I mean, I could say it a million times, but I don't think it's enough. Lately, I've been taking up all of your time. You're getting old, right? I'm pretty sure you don't want to listen to my stupid troubles. I know everything would seem silly to you.
Hey, you listen here. Anything that's troubling my daughter isn't silly to me. I take it very seriously. What you've gone through is extremely traumatic. It's totally understandable that you're feeling and acting the way that you are.
I know, but you and I have already talked about this. I thought that after that day I would be able to just move on. I feel like I've got the weight off my chest. Would you believe that afterwards it just came back to hit me harder? I just can't stop thinking about everything. What am I meant to do, Dad?
Well, you can give yourself a little bit of self-love for starters. You're not a horrible person, Eileen. You're not to blame for it. You're a good person that had horrible things happen to her. And this type of thing isn't something that you get over in a day or two. It's gonna take time. It's gonna take time and persistence. Just don't rush yourself. Don't blame yourself for acting out this way.
Dad, you have no idea how much that means to me. For my whole life, you've always been there. You've always been the one person that picks me up when I'm down. I'm so glad that you're here for me. You know what? You're right. It's gonna take time. I think it's gonna take a little bit more than that, though. I don't want to sit here sobbing in my room all the time. I actually want to do something with my life. I'll show everyone that something like that's not gonna keep me down. I'm still gonna fight on.
Well, would you look at that? There's that fighter attitude that you see all the time in our family. So, what are you planning to do?
I am going to become impenetrable. I am going to make it so that no one can ever hurt me again. You know what? At the end of the day, I've always had goals. I've always had something I wanted to achieve. Look at me. I'm in an amazing position at my company. I've been doing so well, and I have no doubt that I'm going to go even further. I am not going to just stop here, Dad. I am not going to stop until I reach the top. I promise you that. I promise you that these tears weren't for nothing. That it actually went towards something.
Well, you know what? I look forward to when you actually reach that stage in your life. It's really powerful what you're doing right now. A lot of people take the L and just give up. I'm so proud to have you as my daughter. I'm proud to have someone that wants to keep doing her best.
You're praising me way too early. You're going to see how great I am from this point on. What I am going to be is nothing comparable to what I am now. I promise you that.
Come on, Joe. You see an amazing soccer match like that, leave without saying a word, and don't even think to text me that you were thankful that I invited you today? I have to say, brother, you have a lot of nerve. I mean, I always knew that you were jealous of me, but I didn't think it was to this extent. No, don't get too ahead of yourself, Bill. Just because I haven't talked to you today doesn't mean that I was jealous. I saw the game and I thought it was okay. I've had things to do when I didn't have time to message you.
Oh, come on, what a load of crap. You're really gonna spit that nonsense at me? Look at you sitting there, acting like you weren't jealous. I know full well that you were jealous. You've been jealous of me my whole life.
Oh, come on, really? What would I be jealous about? Bill, I was the older brother. I was the taller one, and I was the one that the parents liked the most. I'm not trying to say this to boast or anything, but I wasn't jealous of you at all.
Yeah, right. You can try and hide it as much as you want. I know deep down you see what I have and you wish you could have it. I mean, come on. I could even feel the way that you were expressing yourself at the soccer game today. I could see you watching my grandson in disgust, thinking about how that should have been your kid, thinking about what happened to your life and how you ended up here. Did you see the goal that the little tiger scored? I mean, that was some amazing finesse right there. That is not something a lot of kids his age can do. I can tell you that much. That's all thanks to good parenting. They may as well put that little kid on their adult team already, or at least put him through some sort of intensive training. He's got talent.
Look, I don't want to deny that your kid has some good skills. But are you really trying to pin that on good parenting skills?
Well, of course I am. Who's the one that's putting in the hours for his family? Who's paying for all of those lessons, all that private coaching? The one that's pushing him, the one that's stopping him from being a wuss. That's all thanks to me, brother. That right there is dedication to my family. That's a privilege that I get to enjoy and that you're yet to.
I like your grandson, Bill. Not only is he family, but he's also a really enjoyable person to be around.
You don't need to tell me that for me to realize that already. He came from my son who came from me. And not only that, but I personally like taking care of him. I'm the one that's turning that kid into a man. That's why he's so likable.
No, actually, I wasn't talking about any of that. I think your kid has a really unique and special fire about him. I feel sorry for the fact that he has to live with a guy like his grandfather, though.
What do you mean, a guy like his grandfather? You're actually gonna go into a spiel about me abusing this child or something?
Well, within the bounds of legality, I'd say you are, to be honest. I've known the relationship between you and that kid his whole life. I mean, you've been putting him through the grinder ever since he came into the world. I even remember as a baby, you wouldn't let him cry. You'd say the champions never cried. You told this to a little boy. You said that losers are the only ones that feel upset about their losses. Champions are the ones that look at it and actually move on. And not only that, but you've passed this brainwashing onto your son. He's practicing what you preach too. It is horrible. He reinforces your teachings.
Well, hey, I don't know what issue we have with that. Is it true or not? Take a look at all of the champions we have out there. I don't care what field they're in, they'll tell you a story about how many times they lost and had to pick themselves up afterwards. I was giving my son and grandson a very justified and important lesson about the world.
Okay, but you were telling them this lesson when they weren't even a year old. The baby doesn't even understand language at that point. Are you really gonna instill that type of complex idea when he doesn't even know how to tell you that he needs a feed or that he wants to go to sleep?
Hey, well, that's where you're wrong, brother. I mean, the faster that you can get the brainwashing in, the better, right?
Well, look at that. It came out of your mouth and not mine. That's exactly what you're doing. You're brainwashing that poor grandson of yours the same way that you brainwashed your own children. I mean, I'll admit it, all of them are very successful now. They seem like they're happy with their lives, but you know, deep down, that they're missing something. There's a part of them that's not fulfilled, and now you're just teaching the same lessons to your own grandson. It's kind of sad, actually.
Don't tell me you're gonna start spewing that crap at me. You and I have been here before, haven't we, Joe? We've been arguing about parenting ever since we both became parents. You and I haven't seen eye to eye. And guess what? All of that arguing was for nothing. I mean, if you just conceded that I was right and the way to raise children was through my method and my method only, then you would have been in a better place. Just admit it. I know you're too prideful and stubborn to accept facts for what they are. But at the end of the day, that's just the way it is. I raised my children the correct way, and you didn't. We turned out to be heroes and winners, and you guys remained losers.
I don't care how successful you think your children are, Bill. I don't care how many cars they have. I don't care how big your house is. It doesn't matter at the end of the day. I don't feel like those kids are human. I mean, they're just rats in a wheel, running and running and running, and they just can't stop. They just need to chase more and more. I mean, take a look at your son. Take a look at all the things that he has. He has everything that a person could ask for in this world, and he's chasing more. He's still not happy with himself. If you ask me, there's something seriously wrong with the way that you raised them. You said it was brainwashing, and that's just it. You programmed them into being something that's not healthy.
Well, that's grand coming from you, isn't it? You're gonna sit there and talk to me about healthy? Okay, fine. Let's talk about some healthy children then. I suppose you think yours are a good example? What an exemplary figure of what an adult should be. I mean, let's take a look at your son first. Some loser who's already in his 30s, still sitting on a Fortnite stream playing with little kids. Aren't you ashamed of that? Is that really the intention that you had for your child when he came into this world? Just be honest with me, Joe. When your wife gave birth to that baby and you were holding him there in your hands, you were looking into his face. I know you were thinking something. I know you were planning for his future. You were imagining things, creating some sort of image of what you thought he was gonna be one day. Don't you dare sit there and tell me that you didn't actually imagine him sitting on his computer playing with a bunch of tweens all day? Is that honestly the type of son that you can be proud of? Do you not have any regrets at all?
Look, I don't want to sit here and act as if I'm proud of my kid. I mean, yes, he hasn't turned out for the best, but at the same time, he is a really good person. He's still being raised with the values that I taught him. He's respectful to the people around him, and he doesn't do anything to get in anyone's way. Do I think what he's doing is a little bit childish? Sure. I mean, his maturity hasn't developed ever since high school. It's always been the same. But do you really think I'm gonna use that as a reason to vindicate my own son? Of course not. I still love him all the same. He's one of my own. He came from my body, and as long as he's not doing anything to be a hindrance to the people around him, then I couldn't care what else he does. At least he's happy with his life.
Yeah? You know what that sounds like? Exactly what a loser would say. Only losers are gonna tell themselves that to help them accept how screwed up their circumstances. Honestly, you and I both know that guy is a disappointment. I mean, you yourself have also walked in on him on that OnlyFans thing, right? That kid doesn't have a girlfriend. He's not gonna be able to give you any grandchildren. I can stake my whole wealth, all of my fortune, on the premise that that kid will not procreate. That's how sure of it I am.
Oh, just shut up, Bill, and stop calling him a kid. He's a grown adult now.
Yeah, sure, he's over 30, but you and I both know he still talks and acts like an 8-year-old. I mean, there's something seriously wrong when a grown man is interacting with kids that way. Do you know about his main audience? They're all children. Even you must admit something's weird about that.
Yo, just shut up, Bill. I know my own son. He's not the type of person that you're trying to make him out to be. You think it's weird that he has an audience of children? There's plenty of people like that. I mean, just take a look at the statistics on YouTube. Most of the people's audiences are children in the first place. Are you really gonna call them all weirdos just because of a simple fact like that?
Okay, well, what's the difference between those people and your son? I'll tell you what the difference is. Success and wealth. I mean, those people actually got somewhere with their life. They move on to bigger and greater things. Your kid just sits in the same house as you. He's been the same person for the past 15 years. You can try and defend them as much as you want, Joe, but truly being proud of your kid is seeing the person that they've become and actually appreciating every part of them. I know there's a load of downsides to your son that is just impossible for you to appreciate, no matter how caring and loving you are.
It doesn't matter, Bill, because he's not living his life under your criteria. He's living on his own terms, and I appreciate that. He's happy, and he's providing entertainment for people. There's nothing I can complain about.
Yeah, sure, pretend that you don't care about it. You and I both know that this is a big issue. I mean, let's just face it. There was this sad melancholy about you today. Everyone felt it. You could try and hide it as much as you want, Joe, but it was seeping out from your core.
Okay, what the hell are you going on about now?
I'm talking about you and your miserable situation. I mean, let's take a look at where your life turned out, Joe. Sure, it's not as pitiful and pathetic as your own son's, but it's still sad at the same time.
Are you kidding me right now? You're actually gonna sit there and start judging my life? You really are a petty man, aren't you, Bill?
You've got some nerve calling me petty. Don't you think that I'm just trying to do my job as a family and steer you onto the right track? I mean, everything I say is not necessarily to criticize you. I've always been trying to make you do the right thing, to do what I've been doing. I'm telling you, you are way too stubborn. Just because you're the older brother doesn't mean that you know everything. You still could have learned a thing or two from me. And you know what? Looking at your current circumstance now, I think you're starting to realize that.
Okay, then, Bill. So what's so horrible about my circumstance? Do I need to be sitting in a massive home that takes 10 minutes just to walk to the toilet? Do I need to have a pool in the backyard or something? Do you really expect me to just drive in a different car every day anytime I need to go to the grocery store? I am telling you right now, your definition of happiness isn't for me. I could have all those things and still be pretty miserable. In fact, taking a look at you and your self-conscious attitude, it only further proves my point. Whatever standard you have for happiness isn't working for you.
Wow, look at you. You think you're so smart, don't you? Look at you sitting up there on your high horse, trying to act like wealth and power aren't anything. Well, fine. How about I just concede that part then? Maybe the way that I view the world isn't exactly the greatest. There's the potential that it might not even be the definition of happiness. But let's talk about something that you and I can both agree on. Family.
What do you mean by family?
You know exactly what I mean. There was a certain happiness when you met your wife, right? There was this promise of you being able to start a family with each other. You two might have been fooling around, going on a few dates here and there, but this is all insignificant to what the grand plan is.
Okay then, Bill. So what's this grand plan that you're talking about?
We're talking about family, of course. We're talking about the things that actually matter. You see, I was in that hospital room when I saw your wife give birth. I saw how happy you were, and I'm telling you right now, there's nothing out of the ordinary about that. Every man should be rejoicing in the fact that he's now a father. He should be excited for what's going to become of his children. As the years go on and their children grow up and become adults, you start wanting something else. You desire even more family. And guess what? I don't even need to explain that to you because that sensation of desire and wanting something is something that I could sense from you today.
What are you talking about right now, Bill? You're just being cryptic. Nothing you're saying is really making any sense. You're grasping at straws. You don't know how I feel about anything. You invited me to watch the soccer game of your grandchild, and that's it. Why are you looking into it so much?
Well, hey, I didn't expect it to be anything, really. It was meant to just be a simple invitation. You are family, after all. I thought it would be rude to not invite you, but when you were there, I could just sense that there was something off about you. While everyone else was cheering for my son, there was a part of you that was kind of grimacing. There was some sort of sadness there. Why would that be? Why would my own brother be sad about the success of my grandson? And then I realized, it came to me like a light bulb. You're jealous. You're envious of what I have.
Is that the way you think, Bill? Is that really what you think?
Ah, come on, don't try and sit there and hide it. You and I both know this to be true. I've beaten you in every realm possible. I've beaten you when we were children in the backyard, fighting with each other, wrestling each other to the ground. I beat you at sports. I beat you at grades. I beat you when we were adults. I beat you in the job market. I beat you in terms of finances. Did you think that would stop me, though? Did you think I was going to stop there? Of course not. I was going to beat you in terms of parenting as well. Take a look at our kids. There is a stark difference between them. They're basically aliens from different planets. There's nothing similar about them at all. My children are just so remarkably outstanding that you can't hold a candle to them. And now take a look at the circumstances. I've already beaten you on 2 levels. Now I'm beating you on the 3rd. I actually have a grandchild. Isn't that amazing? I've moved on to the next stage of life. I raised my kids to be adequate enough to have their own kids at some point, to actually be comfortable enough to have their own kids. Not only that, but they were able to have those kids young. Now, I've got a little grandchild who's actually in a football team, one of the best players, outdoing everyone else. Now that's something that I can be proud of. When are you gonna catch up? I've given you enough time, haven't I? You haven't even got your own grandchildren yet. Oh, who am I kidding? Take a look at the kids that you have. It's just logically impossible.
Oh, stop talking about my kids that way, Bill. You always talk about them like they're lost causes, like they're not going to become anything. You should realize that there's still a chance for them. They can still make something of themselves.
Yeah, right, come on. You and I both know that son of yours is basically done for. There's no changing his ways. I don't think the most desperate woman in the world would actually date a guy like that. I don't care if she was starving and she didn't have food. I don't think she's gonna sacrifice her dignity to be seen walking around with someone like your son.
Hey, cut that stuff out. I'm not gonna let you sit there and just talk my family down.
Well, isn't that interesting to see? If only your son had the same amount of fight in him, he could probably get himself somewhere instead of that stupid stream that he has. You should be a little bit more angry about it. Because of the way he lives his life, your kid has no chance of actually producing any children for you. Just admit it. Don't try and rationalize it to be any different.
Fair enough. The chance that my son actually produces children is probably very low. But then again, don't forget that I have a daughter. Eileen's actually got her head on straight. She does a lot of things well in her life. She's worked very hard at her career. She has a lot of money. She's well respected by the people around her. She's not a lost cause. There's an actual chance with her.
Oh, please, come on. You're not putting all your chips on that one, are you? If I had to be a betting man, your daughter probably has an even worse probability of actually producing any kids.
Why would you say something like that? Eileen's got a beautiful soul. She's a genuine person who sees the best in people. She's a hard worker and a great leader. These are all very positive qualities, wouldn't you say?
Look, I'm not going to downplay the fact that there's definitely some really good qualities, but at the same time, what the hell happened there? I mean, all of the qualities that your daughter has should be in your son. Like, come on, Joe. Even you yourself must admit it. If you were a younger man, would you be dating a girl like that? It's kind of repulsive, don't you think? She's the one steering the boat all the time. I don't think she'd ever take her hands off the wheel. I don't know about you, but I'm gonna take a pretty good guess that 99% of people aren't gonna go after a girl like that. Your daughter is as good as done for.
That's really what you think, isn't it, Bill? We'll see about that. I still have faith in my children, especially Eileen. Someone with that much work ethic is gonna get what they want at some point.
Yeah, well, the clock's ticking on that one. I mean, take a look at our children. They're well into their adulthood already. They're already quite old now. She's gotta hurry up fast. She's gotta find some miserable old schmuck that will actually put something in her. Because I'm telling you right now, if she doesn't do it soon, it's probably gonna be too late.
Hey, Eileen. How have you been lately? It's been a while since we've talked. I'm only messaging you right now because it's getting kind of late and I haven't heard from you. We haven't really been talking lately, and I'm just getting a bit worried. When you got some free time, just be sure to message your pop back. Life gets lonely when you don't have the wife anymore. It would be good to talk with you.
Oh my god, Dad, I am so sorry. I had no idea. I've just got so many things on my mind lately that little things like this slip so easily. We actually had a plan for today, right? We were going to bake cookies?
Yeah, that's right. It used to be our little thing ever since you were promoted at your workplace. You've always been so busy and in need of some way to relieve all of the stress that you have. Us hanging out on a Friday night and just cooking something together as we watched a movie afterwards usually is the best way for you to unwind. But as time went by, you've slowly stopped coming, and I've just been a little bit worried. Oh, don't tell me that you're starting to lose affection for your own father. That would really do a number on my heart, you know?
Oh, wow. Look, Dad, I'm so sorry. I've really been a horrible daughter, haven't I? I've been so inconsiderate of your feelings. Please forgive me. I didn't intentionally do this, you know. I just had some things pop up. I was invited to something and I just had to go to it. I completely forgot that we had our arrangement.
That's interesting. A social life? Here I was thinking it was all work with you. Well, it looks like you're actually growing up now. You know what? You're probably doing what's best for you. I mean, let's just face the facts. We don't want you to be hanging around your dad for the rest of your life, right? You deserve to have a social life. You deserve to live life to the fullest. I don't want to be holding you back or anything. If you're going out there and having fun instead of staying around your boring old dad, then I'm happy with that. Don't worry about me. I'll find some things to do on my own. In fact, every now and then, having time on your own is pretty good, right? We all need time to relax sometimes.
No, look, Dad, you're not getting it. I love you. You've been the biggest support for me my whole life. I've had a lot of challenges and struggles, and you've always been there for me, so don't think I ever find your company boring. If I ever hear that come out of your mouth again, I'm gonna have to scold you for it. It's just a simple matter of me deciding to do something tonight without realizing I was already committed. I guess when I was invited to it, I got so excited that I didn't even think about what I had planned for today. I completely forgot about our plans.
Okay, so you're telling me that you actually enjoy spending time with your pops then, huh? You don't mind kicking it back, cooking some really scrumptious cupcakes together and watching a movie afterwards?
Of course I don't. Honestly, Dad, that's the type of thing that I look forward to at the end of the week. I mean, you need to know how my life is at work. I do my best to maintain my own sanity, but it can be really stressful sometimes. I'm managing so many different things. I have to manage people, make sure that everything's been run properly, and there are a lot of tasks to do within one day. A lot of the time I'm staying back as well. Taking a little time to just kick back and take things easy with you has always done me good. Don't ever look down on yourself and how much you do for me.
Well, would you look at that? It doesn't matter how old you get, you're always gonna be that sweet little daughter that I raised from the very beginning.
Of course, I'm always going to be that way, Dad. I'm always going to have respect and affection for you. I mean, Mom passed away really early, right? You've had to do everything on your own. I know it wouldn't have been easy. I know there would have been times that you wanted to give up, and maybe there were times when you did give up. Maybe there were times when you were actually faltering. But regardless of whether these were struggles or not, you still kept doing your best and didn't show it to the people around you. That's the type of guy that I can be proud of. That's the type of father that I enjoy spending time with on a Friday night.
Okay, well, come on now. Don't start making me tear up already. Anyway, you know what? If you're gonna be that sweet to your father, I'll look past this one. But you have to tell me, what are these plans that you have for tonight? What is so exciting that you would ditch an awesome night of scrumptious cupcakes and some hilarious comedy movies?
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, the actual thing is that my friends have invited me and we're going to hang out with each other at a bar.
Oh, really? So you're hanging around bars now, are you? That's not like the daughter that I've always known.
Yeah, look, I know it's pretty unlike me, isn't it? I guess my crazy wild girl side came a lot later on in my life. I mean, I'm already over 30 and I'm only just starting to do it now.
I do have to say, you are quite the late bloomer. Are you sure you want to be doing something like this?
Like, yeah, sure. Why not, Dad? I mean, let's face it, there's a lot more to life than just working, right? I need to get out there and actually enjoy myself. There might be a part of me that I've yet to discover. I mean, it took me this long to realize, but drinking can be a lot of fun. I've seen videos of myself afterwards, and it's like looking at a different person. I'm so surprised about it.
Well, I'm a little bit hurt that you got into this thing without inviting your dad. I know I don't look like it, but I had a lot of fun when I was younger.
Oh my god, Dad. Look, I know it sounds weird, but I'm actually getting a little bit self-conscious about me being this close with my dad. You know, I don't really want people to know that.
Well, that's nice. That's the exact type of thing a father wants to hear. That doesn't hurt at all.
Yeah, look, don't take it personally. I am a grown woman now.
So what you're trying to tell me is that all those times that you didn't come see me, you stood me up to go hang out with your friends?
Yeah, basically. You're not angry with me, are you?
No, of course not. I never could be. I mean, you're allowed to live your life in whatever way you want. In all honesty, when you had that experience so long ago when you wanted to focus on your career, I was a little bit worried. I mean, at that time, it seemed like you didn't care about friends at all. All you wanted to do was just work and make more money. That being said, I'm not gonna lie, you have done quite well for yourself. You're in an amazing position now. Financially, you're better off than most people out there in the world. At the same time, I was always worried that maybe you were lacking in the social department. I was wondering if you had people that you could call friends. You know, people that you could actually watch movies with and not with your old dad.
Yeah, well, what can I say? Dad, I guess there's a time and place for everything, right? It's kind of good that I didn't force that type of thing back then.
Anyway, you know what, Eileen? Don't let an old man like me hold you up any further. You got a night to get to, right? I want you to go out there and enjoy yourself. Who knows? Maybe you'll pick up a handsome guy, right?
Oh my god. What? Hold on. What did you say? Handsome?
Wow, you're getting really flustered, aren't you? It was only a joke, honey.
Oh, a joke. Okay, yeah, that's really funny, Dad. Anyway, yeah, so like you said, I'm really busy, so I kind of have to, go. But I'm definitely keen to see you again and watch movies together, so just wait for me to message you.
Okay, whatever you say, darling. I'm not exactly a guy who has a lot of things to do with his time. So, whenever you're ready, I'll be here.
You really are a weak-minded individual, aren't you? I don't know what I was expecting, though, to be honest. I shouldn't be surprised that something like this would happen. Only a loser like you would make a move like this.
What is it, Bill? What do you want from me now? I find it amazing that every conversation we have seems to be this vindictive and hostile nature. You're meant to be my brother, right? I mean, are we gonna keep talking this way well into our 90s? We're family at the end of the day. I don't know about you, but I have every intention of us getting along with each other, no matter what our differences are.
Oh, don't try to talk all righteous and justified with me, especially after you pulled a sneaky move like that.
Bill, I've got no idea what you're talking about right now. What is this supposed sneaky move that you're going on about?
Oh, come on. You and I both know what you did today. You know that kind of thing would have ticked me off.
Really? So you're trying to say that something I did today got on your nerves or something? It's really interesting that you would say that, Bill. All I've done today was wake up, make my coffee, do a couple of chores around the home, and just watch some TV. I did look through a couple of the old photo books of my children, but that's about it. I'm not really sure what part of my day annoyed you, in all honesty. I'm not really sure why you're trying to unravel what I'm actually doing with my daily life. I mean, I was at home the whole day. Are you trying to say that you had cameras on me or something? Are you secretly outside my window? I didn't know that you were that obsessed with me, Bill.
Oh, you think you're so funny, don't you? You were always the little comedian, weren't you? Then again, it's amazing where your wit got you in the end. Nowhere. That is exactly where it got you.
Oh, come on, Bill. I don't really want to waste the last precious years of my life arguing with you. If you're not going to be clear with me about what you're angry about, I'm just going to have to leave you.
Oh, stop trying to force it out of me. I just want you to admit it. I want you to admit that you staged to have someone in that restaurant. You hired an actor or something. You faked it. There is no way what I saw is real.
I'm sorry, I don't know what you're talking about. A restaurant? I didn't go to any restaurant today.
Of course you didn't go to a restaurant today. We're at the stage of our life that you could be sitting next to the Queen and I wouldn't care about you. What I care about is what your offspring is doing. What the hell were they doing in a place like that?
Okay. Are you trying to say that my kids were eating at a fancy restaurant? Was it my little boy?
Yeah, right. I know no amount of desperate actors would hang around with a guy like that. They would have to be a really special find. Not only that, they'd be well out of the pay range of how much you earn. Obviously, I'm talking about that pig of a daughter that you have.
What the hell did you just call her?
Yeah, look, I'm sorry, but she's at that age, and their work has really done a number on her looks, hasn't it? You put a little mud on that thing, and she definitely looks like a pig.
Bill, I've had enough of you and your vile comments. If you continue doing this, I'm going to start blocking you. I don't care if you're family. I'm not going to sit here and tolerate the way that you talk about my children.
Yeah, well, it serves you right for doing something like staging an actor in the restaurant. I should have known you would do something like this, though, Joe. I mean, let's face it, you've got nothing to flex on me with. You've got no finances. You've got no materials to flex on me, and your children are as pathetic as they come. So what's the last option that you do? Well, you just have to fake it, right?
What are you talking about, faking? I don't even know what I'm faking right now.
You're trying to fake the success of your children. It all makes sense, though. I wonder how much it cost. Your daughter earns quite a decent amount of money, so it's not unlikely. Obviously, she doesn't earn as much as my children, though. That being said, she's not exactly running her own business or anything. Even so, it's enough to go to a fancy restaurant like that every once in a while. Save up a couple of extra dollars, and you can hire an actor that almost seems like he has the perfect genetics. Like that man was almost too perfect. There is no way that I'm gonna sit here and believe that he would genuinely date someone like your daughter.
All right, Bill, you're throwing a lot of information at me right now, and I'm not really getting the gist of any of it. Can you actually tell me what is going on here? Don't say I'm trying to fake this or anything. I genuinely don't know anything about this. I mean, my daughter has been absent with me for a while now. I've been getting the impression that she wants nothing to do with me. It feels like she just wants to get rid of me. I mean, I want to sit here and think that she's working, but there's a chance that she might be doing something else, and I'm totally clueless about it.
You're still trying to play this little game of acting stupid, are you? That's my brother for you. I don't care if you're worse than me, but I wish you were at least someone I could be proud of. Not this lying to seem cool loser that makes up stories to impress the people around him. I'm gonna let you know how I found out about your little scheme in the first place.
Yes, please do. I am very confused right now.
So basically, there's this nice little restaurant just by the river that I like to go to. I only go there to treat myself maybe about 2 or 3 times a week. It's not the type of place that your average man can go to. It's definitely not the type of place where I'd expect to see your daughter. I mean, the type of things that they have on the menu is outrageous. They're crazy good. But the price on them is something that would make most people scream as they run out of the restaurant. Not me, though. You know how I am with my money. I don't live my life looking at price tags.
Yeah, whatever you say, Bill. Just keep talking yourself up. I don't care about all of this extraneous information that puts you in a good light. I just want to know what's going on with my daughter.
You still get really bitter when you hear about another man's success, don't you? You really are a petty individual. Okay, fine. So let's get down into the nitty-gritty then. So basically, I was there looking at the menu, just a little bit bored, to be honest. I mean, it is my favorite place, but even you must admit that the best things in life can get boring if you have to keep doing the same thing. I was this close to just putting the menu down, scoffing down my wine, and just leaving the place until I heard this insane cackle in the distance.
You heard some sort of laughter?
Yeah, I don't know if you could call this type of thing laughter. I mean, it definitely didn't sound human, but at the same time, I couldn't help but feel like I had heard this somewhere. Something about it just felt so familiar. There was this weird screech to it, some kind of snort. I could have sworn that I heard it recently, but who was it? I just had to know. I grew curious, and that's when I did something that I almost regretted. I put down the large menu of exquisite items just to get a look at who was the one creating such a monstrous sound. And what do you know? It was your little girl, Eileen.
Eileen? Are you sure about that? I don't think she's the type to go to that type of place. I mean, she's told me that she definitely has dreams of having that lifestyle at some point, but she's got too much that she needs to focus on. She doesn't have the time to indulge in that type of thing.
Well, look, it seems like you don't actually know your own daughter in the first place. Or maybe women in general, for that matter. I mean, if she's trying to hunt down a partner that badly, she'll go anywhere. I wouldn't be surprised if she was eating in the toilet just to find a new boyfriend. If that's what he wanted her to do, I can see her doing it.
Oh, I don't believe what you're telling me right now. You're trying to tell me that someone is actually on a date with my little Eileen? I can't believe that when she hasn't had a date in such a long time. I mean, she's had a really bad history of guys, and she told me that she wanted to give up on them forever. She said that they weren't worth the pain that she felt when they broke up. They seriously hindered everything that she's had to do.
So, you really don't have any idea about this thing, do you?
Honestly, no, I don't. I have to say, it kind of hurts. I mean, my daughter was always the one person that would tell me everything. There were no secrets between us. I wonder why she would do something like this. Are you sure it was actually her?
Are you kidding me right now? Trust me, there's not a lot of people that can produce a cackle like that. What your daughter has right there is a remarkable gift, if that's what you want to call it.
Oh, stop putting her down. Her laugh isn't that bad.
Yeah, right. You really should have trained your daughter to have some better manners. I mean, think about how the other customers were feeling. It sounded like that little screech when the hot teacher that you have starts to grind her nails on a blackboard. I mean, we're in a very fine establishment. She needs to know some class.
Cut it out already, Bill. She's already been put down enough in her life. She's already had enough pain. She doesn't need to hear it from her own family, too.
Yeah, whatever. I'm not saying this to hurt her feelings or anything. I'm just trying to show you how much of a failure you are. I mean, you're the one that raised her to be this way in the first place. You raised her to be a loser. At some point, you're gonna start regretting the decision that you made with your children. I don't know when the day's gonna come, but I trust you. It is gonna be there at some point.
I'm finding it really hard to swallow all of this down. I mean, my little Eileen. in an expensive restaurant, enjoying herself. It just doesn't sound like her at all. Lately, she's been telling me that she's been with her friends, but for her actually to be on a date? And not only that, but you said that this person was really handsome, right?
Oh yeah, this guy was quite the looker. There was a hint of familiarity about him too. I mean, I'm telling you right now, in the business that I'm currently running, we have a lot of very attractive young people working there. It adds to their sales ability. I mean, let's face it, even if you want to say no, it's kind of hard to turn away when you're looking at a pretty face, right? So yeah, we have our fair share of supermodels in the corporation, but at the same time, this guy was on a different level. I was looking at that jawline of his. He was so sharp. I don't even know how you can train a jawline to be that sharp. I felt like getting an apple and just grinding it against it, seeing it slice. That's how sharp it was. Are you being serious with me right now, Bill? It sounds like you're over-exaggerating. I mean, this is a pretty intricate story that you've given me. I can't help but feel like you've just made it up to make me think in a certain way. Oh, just admit it. You're up to something here, right? You're trying to play games with me. Are you kidding me right now? Do you really think I would make up a story like this? I'm telling you right now, I wish it was made up. I can't believe what I saw today. I mean, I have my own daughter myself, and her husband isn't too shabby. He's a hardworking man just like my son, but he's no pretty boy. But at the same time, how could a pig like your daughter pull a guy like this, and a superstar like mine can't? It just doesn't make any sense to me.
Hey, watch your mouth. I keep telling you to stop insulting my children. That's the last time that you call my daughter a pig.
Oh, would you look at that? Someone's getting a little bit feisty. Well, Joe, all I'm doing is stating the facts for you. How you feel about it doesn't matter to me. The facts are facts at the end of the day. Maybe if she'd use that money that she earns towards a treadmill or something, she'd slim down more. God knows she's not using it for anything else. I can tell just by looking at your daughter. She's a penny saver. She doesn't want to do anything with that money. A real miserly one, that is.
You're such a big man, aren't you, Bill? You've tried to make yourself bigger than me your whole life, and now you're actually using my children to do the same thing? Well, guess what? If what you're saying is true, then I guess the tables have turned for once. It looks like my daughter does have some sort of opportunity with another man, and not only that, but by what you're saying, he's a very attractive one. You can't be too happy about that.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't get your hopes up just yet. I am telling you right now, there are just some things that are too good to be true. And that package right there is a very good package. There has to be something going on behind the scenes here. I'm not going to believe for a second that that man is genuinely interested in your daughter.
Hey, Eileen, sorry to interrupt what is possibly another very beautiful evening for you. But you do know what day it is, right? It's that time of the week again. I know how busy you are and the amount of enjoyment you're having with your friends, but I just need some confirmation on whether or not you're coming over today.
Yeah, look, Dad, I'm sorry. I know I've been neglecting you a lot lately, but I'm pretty stacked to the roof with tasks and responsibilities. It's like you said, I'm going to be with my friends today, so I really can't see you again. I know you'll be sad, but look, I'm going to do my best to keep messaging you more. That's going to give you some sort of closure, right?
Well, it's something, but it's definitely not perfect. I'd like to see my daughter, but at the same time, I don't want to be selfish. You live your own life in any way you want to, and you're free to do that. Anyway, I've been curious about these friends of yours. You said that you were going out, right? You haven't been doing that too much, have you? I don't want you to get hooked in that type of lifestyle, especially at the age that you are now. You've come a long way, Eileen. You've built a lot up for yourself. It would be a shame if you just threw away all the fruits of your labor for some temporary pleasures and drinking. I just want to make sure that you've got everything under control.
Okay, yeah. Look, Dad, I'm sorry. I know it might have seemed like I was doing something really bad, but the truth of the matter is that my friends are actually good people. It's not like we've been doing this every weekend. I mean, we'd like to do it every now and then, but the main purpose for us to meet up is to actually work on business.
Oh, really? Now, is that what you've actually been doing? Well, now you're starting to pique my interest. You've been working at that company for a long time now. I was wondering when you were going to use those savings of yours to actually do your own thing.
Yeah, well, look, these types of things you can't rush. Inspiration has to come from somewhere, right? It's not something you can force, so yeah, me and my friends were kind of like talking about business and whatnot. I think we have a pretty cool idea that's gonna hit the market.
Okay, well, I'm very interested to hear what that is. I mean, I don't have any experiences opening up my own business, but I might be able to have some sort of input all the same. So, lay it down on me. What do you guys have in mind?
Okay, well, I don't really feel comfortable telling you about it, Dad. I mean, I'm not really sure if you would approve of it.
Oh, come on, this is my daughter we're talking about. I've known you for a long time, Eileen. You've been successful in anything that you put your mind to. Anything but boys, for that matter. I'm sure whatever you thought up is going to be an amazing idea. I'm not going to judge you for it or anything. I'm just going to put my genuine input. So, lay it down on me. Come on, I'm begging you. Give me something interesting. I'm an old man now, and I want to hear about these types of things.
Wow. Okay, Dad. Well, look, I'm gonna tell you a little bit about it, but I want you to think it through a bit before you make a comment on it.
Don't worry, I'm all ears. So, what are we dealing with?
Well, actually, I've been thinking about creating some sort of dating service. I want to arrange for people to be able to rent their own boyfriend and girlfriend. Pretty weird, huh?
Wow, well, I wasn't expecting that one, to be honest. That's a really interesting idea coming from you. What made you think about something like that? I mean, don't take this personally or anything, but you haven't exactly been the best when it comes to the dating scene. It doesn't really feel like it's up your alley.
Yeah, well, okay, I get that. I mean, this isn't exactly my idea. This is my friend's idea. They're the one that actually came up with it. I'm just the one that's kind of providing the funds for it.
Okay, that makes a lot more sense. But I have to say, a service where people want to rent a boyfriend or girlfriend, that's kind of strange, isn't it? I mean, I know you haven't had the best of luck in that field, but would you actually use this type of thing?
Well, look, I'm not really sure, Dad. I mean, these days looks are everything, right? I guess people wouldn't mind paying a little bit just to have a pretty girl or a handsome guy walking around with them. Not only that, but this person that I'm working with says that they only want to have the best. They really want someone that's good at having a date, knows all the fundamentals of it, knows how to really make the other person have a good time. I really believe what they're saying. I think it's going to be a big hit.
Interesting. I know it's not something that I would use, but I guess I'm in a different generation now. I'm not really sure what you young kids like to get up to.
Yeah, well, look, from my point of view, Dad, it's a pretty decent niche in the market. I mean, not many other people are doing this, so, like, who knows? Maybe it might work out.
That is to say, if this story is true in the first place, huh?
Huh? What do you mean by that, Dad?
Well, I mean, can you be honest with me? All those times that you've stood me up and you're supposedly seeing your friends, was that actually what you've been doing? Can I really trust you on that one?
Oh my god, Dad, are you serious right now? I've never heard you talk this way before. You never doubted me your whole life. You're actually trying to say that I'm lying or something?
Well, look, this little business idea that you proposed to me does sound quite out there. I mean, it's a very intricate story. I'll give it that much. But at the same time, I just know that's not exactly what you've been doing. You've been up to something else, haven't you? These so-called friends of yours are a little bit more than friends.
Oh my god. Okay. Looks like you found out somehow. How did you know, Dad? What gave me away?
Well, look, it was a multitude of different things. I'm quite an old man now. Sometimes a simple little walk through the mall is more than enough excitement for me. I don't even need to buy anything. I just like to go there, have a bit of coffee, browse a couple of items. At some point, I get tired and I just sit down and watch the people. It's a little bit strange, but I like to look at them and see where their head is at. Try and guess what they're trying to aim for in their life. Maybe try and guess what they've had to experience up until this point. I was playing that little game of mine for a little bit. Soon I finished my coffee and I was about to head home. That's when I saw you.
Oh, great. I think I know what's going on here. I remember the day I went to the mall. So you were there, huh? You were staring at me the whole time?
Well, not the whole time exactly. I'm not gonna just stand up and start following you around everywhere. But I did have a brief moment of witnessing you and that man. He's quite a catch, I must say. I wonder how you met this guy. Oh, don't tell me that it was actually on that little service that you're thinking about creating.
Wow, no way, Dad. Look, I know the type of service I'm creating, but I don't really have that need, you know? I don't really care what people think about me. If we're talking about where I met this guy, it was actually a long time ago when I was in high school. He used to be such a different guy back then. I can't believe what happened to him.
Okay, so it's an old acquaintance, is it? That kind of makes sense. I guess you two had different experiences in life, and now you're coming together. And seeing that you had both changed and matured, you started to actually like each other. My only question is, do you really know this person? I mean, is he a good guy? I don't want you going through the same thing that you went through a long time ago. It took a long time for you to get over that guy. If you get treated like that again, I don't know what I'm gonna do this time.
Dad, look, I understand how you feel. I know you're worried about me. I'm a very fragile person. And you're out there to protect me, and I get that. But I honestly don't want you to be too worried about him. Like, I get it. Back when we were in high school, he was quite a bad boy. He was the one dating all the girls. Everyone liked him. But he's different now. You have to trust me on that.
Oh, really? You know that little old saying they have, right? Old habits tend to die hard. How do you know that you can really trust this guy?
I do. I don't know how to explain it, to be honest. I mean, if you meet him, you'll understand what I mean. He is just the sweetest guy. Now, I don't know what happened in his life. I mean, I'm still getting to know him a little bit more. We've only recently started dating, and he doesn't like talking about himself a lot.
Oh, really? Now I have to say, that's not really a good sign, is it? He's already giving you the mysterious vibes. He could be trying to hide something, you know?
You might have a point there, Dad, but at the same time, I just can't help but feel like he's a good person now. I mean, he's so nice to me in every regard. We go to the restaurant and he pulls out my chair for me, he opens doors for me, he pays for the bill, he makes me laugh, makes me feel like I'm a princess, holds my hand as we walk around the street. I mean, I've never really felt this way about a person. I want to believe that he's a nice guy.
Yeah, well, let's see how far that niceness extends. I mean, do you think it's that hard to pull out a chair for you and hold your hand down the street? I'm telling you right now, it doesn't require a lot of effort or dedication. He could be doing that with anyone. That time that I saw you in the mall was on a Monday. How do we know what this guy is doing on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday? You've got no idea, right? I'm sorry, Eileen, but with the amount of work that you've put in so far, and how far you've gotten, I'm not so accepting of this relationship of yours. I wish you told me about this first.
Okay, Dad. Well, there's one thing you need to know, and that's I'm already an adult. I mean, I'm over 30 for Pete's sake. Do you really want to be a commanding father for the rest of my life? You need to let me spread my wings for once. Not only that, but I don't exactly have time to be choosy. I need to lock down someone real fast, and I have to be honest, Tim is a great guy. I mean, I know he's got that past and everything, but when you meet him, you're gonna understand exactly where I'm coming from. There is no way that you're gonna hate him. He's just way too likable.
Look, Eileen, I hear what you're saying, and I can see how passionate you are about him. That only makes me even more worried. I mean, with this amount of investment, it's actually going to be really hurtful when he actually does something to betray you. Can you honestly tell me with your heart of hearts that this is not going to happen?
Look, Dad, I know. I get it. It might be really hard to believe, but I just need you to trust me on this one. How about we do this? You and I can arrange some way for you and him to meet. You guys can get to know each other, and you're going to see exactly where I'm coming from. You're going to see that he's actually a really good guy, and he's just the one for me. What do you think about that? And you know what? If you don't agree with him, then fair enough. I'll put that into consideration. There might be a chance of you saving me, Dad, after all, but all I want you to do is just to meet him first.
Okay, fine. You know what? I like the idea of that. Eileen, let's do exactly that. But I'm telling you, I'm not sure about any of this. I mean, I've seen the guys that have been running around these days. Me being a male myself, I can tell you that there are not a lot of genuine ones out there. Let's see what type of guy this Tim character is. Hey Tim, I'm sorry for messaging you. I know how much of a busy man you are. I get the feeling that you don't like to be hassled all the time, but you really did me a solid today, and I can't help but say thank you again. I mean, I'm not really sure if the small change I gave you was enough to show how grateful I am for it. At the end of the day, my body is not like what it used to be. I mean, I could definitely get the job done on my own, but to say it wouldn't take its toll would be a lie. Anyway, looks like I'm just rambling on right now. I just wanted to say that you have my gratitude.
Hey, Joe, look, don't worry about it. It is what it is. It's just a simple job at the end of the day. I'm happy to do it, especially for a man that I actually respect. You've raised a really good daughter. I'm very happy with Eileen. I have a good relationship with her. And if me doing this little task for you means that we can have a good relationship, then by all means, I'll come back there and do it again if you want.
Well, hey, don't tempt me because there are a couple of little spots that I think you should get.
Sorry, no, what, are you actually serious? Don't tell me I actually missed something, did I? Do I have to go back there?
No. Don't worry, Tim. I'm just yanking your chain. Just a little bit of humor. Even if the job was only half done, I'd still really appreciate it just because of how much of a good guy you are.
Oh, well, thank you, Joe. That means a lot to me, especially to hear it from someone like you.
No, anytime. Anyway, I have to say, I'm really glad that my daughter met a guy like you. I mean, these past couple of months of us knowing each other have been quite insightful. I have to say, you must have felt like crap being put through the grinder from the start. I hope you didn't take it personally. I am very protective of my daughter. She's experienced a lot of pain in her past, and I don't want her to go through that again.
No, don't think anything of it. She's your daughter at the end of the day, right? You're gonna do anything you can to protect her. I don't have any kids myself, but I can understand where you would be coming from on that matter. It's good that you like to do things the traditional way. It's something that I can respect. I feel like there are a lot of dads out there that don't even care about their kids anymore, especially if it's a girl. They just let her run wild. It's good that you actually care about your own daughter's future. I really admire that quality of yours.
I have to say, you really amaze me. I mean, I don't want this to turn into a contest of who can flatter the other person more, but you really are an outstanding individual. How did you come to this type of man? How did you become to be this polite and morally in tune? My daughter said that you had quite the rambunctious past to you. Apparently, you were somewhat of a little playboy. I find it hard to believe that when I'm looking at the man that I see now.
Yeah, well, look, I guess people get older and they learn things about themselves, right? I had my fun being that type of guy, and I don't really enjoy it anymore. I'm aiming for something bigger, something with more purpose. Something like Eileen.
Oh, really? Now it's interesting that you mentioned that. I've been very curious because when I look at you, I think there's a really amazing person here. I can imagine a lot of girls would be after you. What is it about my daughter that you like in the first place? What has got you hooked on her?
That is a very easy question to answer, Joe. Your daughter is very nice.
Okay, well, that's a pretty good reason. But is there another reason that you like her? I mean, there are a lot of nice people out there. There's gotta be something different about my daughter that got your interest apart from her being nice.
Okay, well, she's very nice and she has a good smile.
Okay. I mean, I definitely agree with you there. People have made fun of her smile, particularly her lips, but it's good that you actually approve of it.
Yes, I like it. I like it very much.
Okay, well, Tim, I don't want to bother you anymore. My daughter was saying that you have a very entrepreneurial type of mindset. You have a lot of things that you want to put your mind to.
Yes.
Well, if that's the case, I'm gonna let you get back to it. I have this little habit of mine of disturbing a lot of the younger people. You guys have things to do. I shouldn't butt in all the time.
Before you leave, Joe, there is something that I need to ask you. This is very important.
Okay, well, shoot. What's on your mind?
I'm thinking about your daughter, Eileen. Her and I have been together for quite a long time now. It's about time I popped the question. Her and I need to start getting serious.
Whoa, 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 whoa. I wasn't expecting this. Are you serious right now? Have you actually thought this one through? I mean, you guys haven't even dated for a year yet. Do you really want to tie the knot that quickly?
Positive. I know a good girl when I see one. Eileen is perfect for me. All I want is your blessing.
Have you even talked to her about this first?
Of course I haven't. That's not how my parents raised me. I'm actually a guy with morals. I actually like doing the right thing. I'm not like these pieces of crap out here. I'm a good person. A good person actually asks the dad, right? And that's exactly what I'm doing. So, do I get your blessing for this marriage?
Well, Tim, of course you do. There's no reason for me to not give you my blessing. Oh, I can't believe you're actually doing this. You're actually gonna marry my daughter. I never even thought this would happen. Oh, she really has come far, hasn't she?
Yes, she certainly has. Anyway, thank you for your time. I'm gonna go now.
Okay, Tim. Well, you take care. Oh, thank you again for the help today.
Hey, Tim, man, what are you up to? You've been at that girl's house for ages. I know you're having your fun and everything, and that's part of the plan. But, you know, we have a business that we're trying to start up here, right? You and I need to talk. We need to have meetings. I want you to respect that. Oh, come on, man, give me a break. You know how my schedule is at the moment, right? I've got way too many people that I have to meet. I'm always strapped for time. Give a guy a break, especially one that's your business partner. You and I are meant to be having healthy relations, right? So just give me the time that I need. But you don't see me missing meetings all the time like you are. It is so hard to get a hold of you. Yeah, well, take a second to think about why that is, Alex. Don't you ever think that maybe I'm the better one at doing this type of thing? I've got more girls wanting my attention. Hey, watch it. I mean, you get quantity, but I get quality. I mean, you've already heard about the amount of stories that I have, right? When you take that into consideration, I'd say that we're pretty even. Yeah, well, just the sheer numbers of quantity I have overpowers whatever freaky experience that you were having anyway. But look, man, I'm sorry. I know that I'm in the wrong for this. I know I should be going to those meetings. This is our future on the line. It is very important. Okay, well, if that's important to you, how about you come over and we actually get started? I can't do that. Well, why not? Look, I've just got another little thing that I have to do. This one is pretty important. Are you kidding me? Man, you're off to see another girl? Alex, give me a break. Don't get started on me. You have no idea what I've got to do. I've got to hang out with the girl's dad. It is an absolute drag. Not exactly something that I want to do. Are you talking about that one? What was his name? Jerry or something? It was Joe. Oh, yeah, that old guy. That must be a pain to deal with. Does this guy like you that much? Of course he does. You should know that by now. At this point, I can be anything you want. Do you think that this is the first time that I've had to play Boy Scout? I mean, it's part of the game. It's not all about being this charming guy that only talks up the chicks. Especially in a situation like this, getting a good rapport with the dad is pretty important. Yeah, fair enough. But is it really worth hanging around him this much? I mean, from the sounds of it, this boring old man constantly needs attention. That guy needs to find some purpose in his life or something. I'm not going to argue against that, but I need you to see the importance of me going to see him. I mean, he is all part of the plan. He is absolutely necessary if we're going to achieve what we're trying to. Yeah, okay, I mean, you are the leader after all. I guess I just have to trust your judgment. So, I'm guessing the family is sold on you then? Oh, yeah, they are sold on everything. They are sold on the idea of me, and they're even sold on the business idea. I mean, that girl, Eileen, man, she's one of the biggest suckers I have ever met. Super desperate for companionship. So clingy. You would think that she was a monkey glued onto its own mother. I could have sold her on anything. She's absolutely obsessed with me. It doesn't matter what I say. I have full confidence that she would go along with it. I could probably convince her that the moon was actually purple instead of white. That's how gullible this one is. Well, that's the old Tim charm for you. You don't need to convince me of your abilities. Well, yeah, this is one of my best work yet. I mean, I can't believe the amount of money I've asked her for. Like, I asked her for a huge $100,000 as a joke, and she actually gave it to me. I was actually expecting her to say no because it was just that ridiculous. I'm telling you now, man, these corporate women that are super lonely and don't have anyone else in their lives, they are the exact type of people that we're going to be targeting for our business. You have a pretty good point there. They're the ones that are most likely to want to rent a partner. I mean, can you believe that some people are so love-deprived that they don't even want to buy a partner and have them be in a real relationship? They just want to be seen having one. Well, could you blame them? Take a look at us, Alex. Think about it. If Prince Charming had a twin, that's exactly what we'd be. Not only are we incredibly good-looking, but we've been in this game for way too long. I'd say that we've even cracked the code. We've mastered it. We know exactly how to make a girl feel the way that she wants to. We can give her the perfect experience, an experience that she's even going to pay for, even if it's fake. You've got that right. Not only that, but doing the service for guys is going to be even more of a cakewalk. I mean, how many guys want to be seen walking around with a pretty lady under their arm? We'd be able to train the girls how to behave themselves perfectly. Exactly. It is good that you're on the same page as me. Trust me, man, it's only going to be a matter of time. Just let me do this thing with the family, and we are going to be billionaires in no time.
How are you doing, Bill? It's been a while since I sent out the wedding invitations to everyone. I'm getting a little bit worried. I'm not sure if you received yours or not. Could you let me know if you actually got it or not? I'd hate to have this event without you. You are family after all. I attended the weddings of your children, and I'd appreciate it if you extended the same courtesy and attended mine.
Don't worry, Joe. I got your invitation. You don't have to send it multiple times in the mail.
What's going on, Bill? Am I sensing a hint of jealousy there? Or maybe a little bit of bitterness? Look, that's fine. I totally get it. You're a guy who's been able to beat me our whole lives. It must be tough to take a loss like this. I understand how you might be feeling. I mean, let's face it, man, you've been winning our whole lives. You haven't felt the sting of a loss before.
Is that what you think this is? You actually think that this is a loss?
Well, to a certain extent. I mean, you've always relished in how much better you were than me. You always took pleasure in how much better your children are compared to mine. Well, take a look at what's going on now. My girl has actually got herself a decent man. I don't want to sit here and keep comparing the guy that she's with to the guy that your daughter has, but it's pretty hard not to. Look at the type of guy that Tim is. I mean, he's a very smart individual. He talks to people in a polite manner, and he's always going out of his way to help me. Not only that, but he seems to be very interested in my daughter. I mean, Eileen can't stop talking about him. She thinks he's the most amazing guy in the world. And if I'm being honest, she probably has a point there. So yes, I get it. I get how you must be feeling. Your big brother Joe finally beat you at something. It must suck. I know that you're taking it harshly, but at the same time, don't let your pride get in the way. We're both family after all. Even after the way that you've talked to me over the years, I still had the courtesy to turn up to the weddings of my nieces and nephews. I expect you to do the same.
You really are a dim-witted fool, aren't you? You have no idea what's going on here. Do you really think Eileen marrying this guy is going to be a win for you? Do you even understand what type of situation you're in? I don't even know if I should tell you the truth. It's probably going to turn your whole world upside down.
Oh, spare me your poor attitude, Bill. I get it. It's hard to accept this reality. Sometimes in life, you lose and that's it. I don't want you getting all bitter about it.
Look at you, acting all smug. It really makes my stomach churn, you know? I can't help it. I need to tell you what's going on. If I have to put up with that smug attitude any longer, I'm gonna go over there and put you in your place. So, let's talk about that man, Tim. The all-so-wonderful Tim. He's perfect in every regard. He's a beautiful person with a beautiful soul. That's what you think about him, right? This is laughable. You're too stupid to see him for who he actually is.
What are you talking about? Bill, don't sit here and talk about him like you actually know him. You haven't even met the guy. You've seen him at a restaurant and you made a judgment about him. That's it.
Is that really what you think? You don't think I got curious about that guy? You should know by now, Joe, I've got a lot of connections. If I need to find information about someone, I can do it. And boy, let me tell you, I didn't need to search that hard. There's something very interesting about that guy. I felt like I knew him from somewhere. Would you believe me if I told you that he used to work in my company?
I'm sorry, what did you say? What do you mean that he used to work in your company?
Yeah, that's right. I mentioned that I had a sales team and it was filled with beautiful people. I'm sure you remember this. Actually, we used to have a top salesman there. He was our best guy. He was able to use his good looks to hook people in, get his foot in the door, and then over time, he worked on his charm and he was able to swindle people like it was nothing. He was an absolute gun of a worker. It's really a shame that we had to let him go.
Okay, and this amazing worker you're talking about is Tim? Why would it have taken you this long to realize it was him?
Well, if I'm being honest, I didn't meet Tim until the scandal happened. I did hear about a superstar worker absolutely killing it, but I'm a busy man. I don't have time to meet every little worker I have in my business. There is one exception to the rule, though. If they do anything to put my business at risk, then I need to have a talk with them personally. And that is exactly what I did with Tim.
What did he do?
Well, the thing is, I learned about this after the fact, but that man, Tim, he has an issue. He's a long-time womanizer. He's not only good at manipulating his clients, he was also very good at manipulating the opposite sex to get them to do whatever he wanted.
Huh?
I was having a very normal workday. My company was running very smoothly. You could almost say that I didn't have anything to do. And then one of my most trusted employees came up to me with a very serious case that he was worried about. It appears that superstar that everyone's talking about has put his skills to use in the actual workplace too. He was getting into the pants of the woman there, distracting them from their duties. People would say that he'd hear them in the toilet. A lot of these girls were also giving him their paychecks. He manipulated them to think he would abandon them unless he was given money. He's a con man. He puts on a good face with people, but he's actually out there to exploit them.
Yo, what a load of crap. Do you really expect me to sit here and believe you?
Well, sure. Why not? We're family after all. Do you think I would lie to you? Don't worry, Joe. I know this one must be hard to swallow. You said it was hard for me to accept the truth about your daughter marrying a good man, right? You told me that I should just accept reality for what it is. There's no point in getting bitter about it. Well, I'm gonna throw your advice straight back at ya. The reality of the situation is that your daughter is married to a con man. And not only that, he's out there for her money. He's gonna use her money to fund this little business program of his. I'd say that the moment he's done with her, he's gonna dissolve the marriage, act like it never happened, and he gets to live on happily with his money.
Oh, shut up. Just shut up. I'm not gonna believe this. I can't believe you came up with such a stupid story. This is Tim that we're talking about.
You're still in disbelief, aren't you? Don't worry. You sent me all of those invitations thinking about me. You didn't want me to miss the wedding, right? That's very considerate of you, brother. I'm gonna repay that kindness. I'm gonna send you all the evidence that I have of this guy, what he was doing in the workplace, and all the testimonies about what he was doing after. And look, don't worry, brother. I'm not gonna expect a thank you or anything. We're family at the end of the day, right? Consider that my little gift to you. Come on, babe, what the hell? Are you seriously gonna act this way? Are you a little kid or something? Why are you being so childish right now? We're meant to be together, right? Why would you kick me out of the house?
You know damn well why I did. My dad told me everything. Tim, I know you've been seeing girls behind my back. I know you've only been using me for my money. I can't believe I was such an idiot. I fell for a guy again. I don't want anything to do with you. I want you out of my life right now.
Oh, come on, babe. Are you really gonna believe that? This is your dad that we're talking about. He wants you to be miserable forever. He wants you to be single and alone. Think about it. If a guy got with you, you're not gonna spend time with him anymore, right? He is selfish. You should realize that.
So what are you trying to say? That my dad was lying or something?
That is exactly what he was doing. That's what any guy would do in his type of situation.
Shut up! A piece of crap like you would use people like that, but not my dad. He cares about me. Besides, I don't even need my dad's testimony to know that you've been doing the wrong thing. You don't think I got curious? I looked into this thing myself. I didn't have to do much digging to know that you've been seeing a lot of people. In fact, you've actually been seeing my best friend. She was really keen and interested in you too. You told her that you weren't going to marry her, but you wanted to be with her forever. I'm assuming you're going to see her behind my back or something, right? You're such a piece of crap. You're just like how you were in high school. You know what? You're even worse. Why couldn't you just leave me alone? Why did you have to use me like this?
Well, come on. I didn't really have a choice, did I? Take a look at my situation. I got fired from my really good job, and all those girls that I was dating for the money aren't earning anymore. I mean, the way that they would earn their money is by using their beauty, and they're not exactly beautiful at the age that they are now, are they? I'm doing what's necessary to take myself to the next step. Are you seriously gonna look down on me for that?
Of course I am. You're doing this without any considerations of my feelings. You and Alex. I can't believe it. I can't believe you're still friends with that guy. I mean, I told you that he was the one that hurt me all those years ago. He's the one that made me decide that I didn't need anyone. He made me focus on my career because I was afraid of being hurt again. Now I find out you've actually been friends with him. You guys are just the worst. And not only that, your stupid business idea is too.
Hey, shut your damn mouth. Say whatever you want about me and Alex, but don't you dare knock the idea. This is a brilliant idea that we've come up with. It's not our fault that you're too stupid to see how amazing it is. And you know what? The moment that this thing starts to take off, I can guarantee you that you're gonna be one of the people who uses it.
Whatever. Get over yourself. You really think that you and Alex are such great guys that people are going to rent you? That right there is what I call delusion.
That's what you think, isn't it? That's fine. You're too stupid to understand how amazing it is. You are gonna regret this one day. I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna show you how amazing it is gonna be. The next time you see an awesome red Ferrari driving down the street, take a look in the window. There's a high chance that you're going to be looking at me.
I got back my money that I invested in Tim, and I went on with my life. He and Alex thought they could continue with their idea. The experience with me only fueled their determination. They tried to get back out there and recruit some younger girls for OnlyFans to start earning money from them. Unfortunately, everyone knows what kind of mindset those two have. The reason being because I told everyone. Luckily, I'm well connected in this town. I know a lot of the girls, and I use them to spread the word about what a bad guy Tim is. So, whenever those two try to approach a younger girl, they are immediately shut down. They can no longer use that as one of their revenue streams. Regardless, they were still adamant that their business plan would work. Fair enough. They fully opened their business, and it was operational. The only thing is, people were using their services for a different purpose. Instead of being a respectable boyfriend, those two became punching bags, getting paid to be degraded, and honestly, it's not a lot of money either. The two boys often thought about getting out of this business and finding real jobs, but with their reputation and skill set, it was pretty much impossible. Now, they spend their days being degraded by women. From what I hear, some clients even make them walk around on all fours like they're dogs. You can't say they didn't deserve it. As for me, on the other hand, I had another blow to my heart. Another guy hurt me. I acted strong, but I actually had a lot of feelings for Tim, even if he didn't reciprocate it back. Because of my experience, I wanted to make sure no one had to go through what I did. I wanted to figure out a way to prevent it. With that in mind, I opened a business that operates much like a detective agency. I have a couple of moles on dating apps and in the real world, gathering as much information as possible. When a person uses my service, the mole takes notes of their partners and their characteristics and see if they're active on dating apps. If they match with their partner, they start to talk to them and test their loyalty. Most of the time we find that people have loyal partners, which I'm really glad for. Sometimes, though, the moles find something really horrific. It's always a bad day when we have to deliver that news to someone. Because of the service, there have been a couple of marriages that have broken down. As a result, we also offer a support service for those people, hoping they might find love again. When it comes down to it, I feel like I'm doing something good for the world with my new business. Sure, I may not find love or have my own children. I'm way too old for that now, but at least I can help someone else achieve that dream. Not only that, but my little business has become so successful that I've earned enough money for my dad to retire. He's living in his own home now, peacefully, and I get to see him every day. I can see myself living a good life just like this from this point on. Thanks for watching all the way to the end. If you enjoyed it, please remember to click the like button, and see you in the next video.